Welcome, Tiger fans, to the AHS Coaches Show. I'm your host, Will Glenn. Today on the AHS Coaches Show, two Tiger teams are off to hot starts. Jeb Jones and the football team are 1-0 after a big Week 1 win, while Rebekah Sanders and the Arlington volleyball team are a perfect 9-0 as they look to build off last season's historic state run. We'll catch up with both head coaches, break down their strong starts, and look ahead to what's next. The AHS Coaches Show starts right now. Welcome to the AHS Coaches Show, your weekly look inside Tiger Athletics. Joining me in the studio today is AHS head coach Jeb Jones. Coach, 1-0, good start. Jack Tidwell was super efficient under center. They saw a lot of talent from the wide receivers. How you feeling about it?
Yeah, obviously winning Week 1 is important. Going out there and getting confidence. It's the first night under the Friday Night Lights that it actually matters. We have our scrimmages, we have the jamboree, but you never know truly what your team's going to look like when it actually matters. And so Tidwell played great, was efficient through the air, and with his legs, like we kind of talked about. Receiver stepped up big, offensive line played great, and then once again, our defense plays phenomenal. They came out there, I think they gave up 36 total yards and then just the one touchdown. It's always a good confidence booster going into Week 2 after having that success. And but the big things I tell our guys is just to make sure that, hey, Week 1's great, it's over with, we got to focus on the next opponent, and we can't live off what we did in the past.
I want to talk about kind of the passing game. Nick Anderson took a punt back for a touchdown. The guys looked athletic. How do you plan to work them in throughout the season?
Yeah, I mean that's important. Especially when you have as many athletes on the field at one time. Nick got his kickoff return for a touchdown. That was his one touchdown. Jack's Poole had quite a few yards. Jackson Flowers at that tight end position. Dylan Allen. So it's challenging to kind of spread the love and get everybody the football at one time because there is only one ball to hand around. And so I think the big thing for us is they're very unselfish, and that's key to having success on offense is when guys are willing to go out there and maybe they're not getting the football, they're willing out there to go out there and block. But it's very important that we, as coaches, we do spread the ball around. If a guy goes out there and makes a great block, we're going to try to get that guy the football in the next couple of plays just to kind of reward him for his effort. And so it was promising. Obviously, there's things to work on in the passing game. We had a couple sacks that we kind of messed up some pass protection, a few routes that we kind of messed up here and there. And so just kind of building that timing against the live defense is always key. And the more experience that we get is better.
KJ had, I think his first rush was a 50-yard touchdown. Just super explosive. How much does that help an offense?
Yeah, it's great. I think that our first series was 2 plays. We had through the one screen pass that Jack's Poole took for 15 yards, and the very next play, KJ busted. It was great to see. Just with KJ, we haven't really seen him a lot throughout spring and the summer because he's been kind of dealing with a hamstring injury. So having him back fully healthy, he kind of dealt with a little bit of cramps there towards the end of the game because it's kind of the first time that he's played a full game. But just seeing his explosiveness, our line blocked it up perfectly. He was able to time it up and hit the hole right. And then he broke those 2 tackles and struck out. And so that's promising to see. It's always been a fit to have the run game as a good option. Lincoln had quite a few carries as well. I think we averaged like 7 or 8 yards a rush on Friday. So having that just opens up the pass game and makes it life a little bit easier on our receivers and on the quarterback.
Yeah. And you said y'all needed to clean up a little bit. Was that just the routes, or was there anything else you saw?
Yeah, I mean, just pass protection, just understanding who we're blocking and what scheme we're trying to get to, and who we identify as blitzers and on the line of scrimmage, which you can't really replicate that during practice because you don't want kids getting hurt and that stuff. And so that's stuff that we got to work on in film and things like that. And then just timing. You can go out there and practice all day on air or against in 7-on-7 stuff, but when it actually matters and there's full bullets and the defensive line's coming at the quarterback full speed, you have to have that stuff in game reps, and so it's always a benefit to go out there. And so there's things that we saw on film that we try to fix this week, and looking forward to seeing if we've got it fixed on Friday night.
This week you'll host the East Mustangs at home to move to 2-0. East is coming off a huge loss to Chester County.
Yep.
So how do you feel about that matchup?
Yeah. I mean, we kind of don't talk about what they did week prior because it is a new week. They're a very athletic team. They can be explosive. A couple years ago, they actually went and competed, and I think they won a state championship. So they have the tools there. And so our guys, we were just focused on, competing against us, making sure that we fix the mistakes that we saw in week 1. We have rules. We have our own system that we're going to play. And so it doesn't really matter who the opponent is. We're going out there. The team that stops us is us. And so that's kind of why we're looking at it. And, they're a very good team. And I tell our kids all the time, you can't take any team for granted because any Friday night, things can happen. High school football is a very chaotic game. So we have to go out there and make sure that we're doing the best of our ability and giving 100%. And if we do that, we should be able to come out on top.
A great week 1. A lot of people came out. The cameras were shaking on the stream.
Yeah.
They were loud and rowdy.
Yeah, it's awesome. Having that home environment. One of the big reasons our goal this year is to host a home playoff game is because our crowd always shows up. It was a whiteout theme. So at one point, kind of when the game was the fourth quarter, I turned around and I was like, it was really cool. It was like the Penn State whiteout that we did. So our fans are awesome. They always show up no matter what the record is, no matter what the score is. They're going to stay to the end of the game. And so our student section was loud, proud, having them a little bit, sometimes toe the line of what they're supposed to do. I love that stuff. And so having them out there and supporting us, I know our team loves it. The band was awesome. Cheer and dance was awesome. And so this week is Gold Week, and I fully expect those guys to come out again and our crowd to come out and be loud for us this week. So looking forward to turning around and seeing a bunch of gold in the stands this week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Tiger football is not the only undefeated team at AHS. The girls volleyball squad is 9-0, earning the Tigers' #1 rank in the state. We caught up with 2 of the leaders of the team as they hope to write their name in the history books this season.
We got close last year. We made a historic season, and we have unfinished business, and we're here to take that ring.
The state ring. I want that more than anything. Being able to, we're not gonna have fall break. We're gonna be playing almost like 4 hours a day during a whole fall break while people are out on vacation. And I just wanted it all to be worth it, coming back home with a state ring, and that our school hasn't done that, and I don't think ever. So being like the first team to ever do this would just change my mind completely. I'll just be so proud of us if we completed this.
Coming up, we'll have the head coach of the #1 team in the state, Rebekah Sanders, in studio. Welcome back, Tigers, to the Coaches Show. My name is Will Glenn. Today I'm here with head coach of the girls volleyball team, Rebekah Sanders. This is your first season as head coach. We're starting 9-0.
Yeah.
Great start. Just won last night against a really good Briarcrest team. How are you feeling?
Well, we played Briarcrest tonight. Yeah. We played Houston the other night, and that was our first district win, and it felt pretty good.
Cool. You talked about leadership. Led by 6 seniors, and a couple of them are going to play volleyball at the next level. How does that affect your team?
I think trying to balance expectations with meeting new challenges is probably our biggest issue right now. You get ranked a certain way, and you know that people expect you to perform at a certain level, but you've also got to remember that you're not perfect, or that you might have new challenges with different teams is probably the biggest thing we're dealing with.
Last season, the Tigers finished with the highest ranking in program history, so the expectations are high. How do you expect this team to just build and to hopefully compete for a state title?
We've got strong leadership, so we have 5 seniors that have played together for a really long time, and so they have a rhythm, and they have a way of talking to each other and communicating. What we've got to learn how to do is when there are challenges, come back when we're feeling a little defeated, and how to respond when we're in those panic situations.
Yeah, and I know y'all are playing the best competition in the state.
Yes.
So thank you for coming on the show, and good luck as you finish the season.
Thank you so much.
Tiger Sports has a busy week this week, starting with volleyball. Girls volleyball travels to Briarcrest tonight. JV gets underway at 5:30, followed by varsity at 6:30. Girls soccer is also in action tonight, with kickoff set for 7 o'clock. Tomorrow night, Tiger football hosts Memphis East at 7 o'clock, and on Saturday, the cross-country team heads to New Albany, Mississippi for the first cross-country meet of the season. Boys start at 9:50 and girls start at 10:20 in the morning. Next week, on Monday, girls volleyball travels to Dyer County. JV starts at 5 o'clock with varsity set to follow at 6. The Lady Tigers return home Tuesday to St. George's with JV at 5 and varsity at 6. That's all for this week, Tigers fans. Come out and support the football team this Friday as they take on East. There's still plenty of time to cheer on the AHS girls volleyball team as they have 6 home games remaining. Join us next week as we dive into the girls soccer season and break down more AHS football. Until next time, I'm Will Glenn.